Am I the asshole for taking a 1-hour nap on days I work? My 30F, fiancé, 35 NB, has been giving me grief for taking a 45 million 1-hour naps before I go to work each day. I work 2p 11p, they work 7a 3:30 p.m., and has a 4-year-old daughter who I watch while they work until I need to work myself. They expect me to wake up at 6-ish to make her breakfast and be ready for the day. I normally don't mind, but some days, if not every day I work, I need an hour nap. I get home around 11:30, stay awake for an hour, maybe an hour and a half because my body is wired from working. I have 2 days off, and we nap together even sometimes, as does the little. They're starting to feel lonely, citing that I sleep every day when I do not. I currently am in therapy and see a psychiatrist to help with my alcohol addiction. I'm 2 months clean, and my ADHD symptoms with impulse control and other issues. I'm a sleepy girl. I don't do it on purpose, and I'm not checking out because I feel they would be fine if I did. I literally will fall asleep sitting up if I am that tired. They're acting like I'm never awake/around. Which work pulls me away a lot, but I barely hit 40 hours each week. Same as them. My schedule is set, and Friday/Saturday are my off days, while theirs are Sat/Sun. I feel like shit for sleeping already, and that I have to sleep at all, but I wake up so early. I get maybe 6 hours each day pre-nap, if I'm lucky. I spoke to my psychiatrist in case this is a side effect of my meds, and she literally told me, get more sleep. Am I the asshole for napping because my body is literally forcing me to? Quick edit. Partner works from home at a very relaxed job, while I have to travel 30 minutes both way to go to mine, and it's very pressure-centered. Not the asshole, but I think your partner is. They are not allowing you to have a full night's sleep. And why are you making the breakfast? Haven't they got arms and legs? Wait. After working until 11 o'clock, you're supposed to wake up early to make breakfast for your partner's daughter before your partner goes to a WFM job? That's a hella nope. My psychiatrist wouldn't prescribe psych meds until my sleep was regulated. Not the asshole. I'm not sure what arrangements you have, but it sounds like you are treated like a glorified live-in nanny. Wait, if your partner is working a relaxed schedule from home, why are you getting up at 6 a.m. with their child? Not the asshole, you're sleep-deprived. People don't understand second and third shift workers. They still need to sleep. Why can't they make the breakfast since they can go to bed at a normal hour? Not the asshole, tell them to get up instead, or you'll dump them. No relationship is worth the brain damage long-term sleep deprivation gets you. WTF are you doing getting up at 6 a.m. to make their daughter breakfast when you work a second shift job out of the house, and they work a first shift job in the house? There is more wrong in this scenario than you taking a damn nap. But also, as someone with multiple chronic illnesses, not the asshole in general for any adult taking a midday nap. That can be super helpful to get through the rest of the day. ETA. Also, forgot to say congrats on the sobriety. Keep it up. Am I the asshole for asking my dad not to be in a relationship? I'm 17F and a senior in high school. My parents have been separated since I was little, first or second grade ick. My dad's been in a ton of relationships, at least 3 since they separated, and the last one was an engagement where we all lived together for like 5 years. He and I don't really talk about his relationships. The one time he did was him telling me how much he missed his first ex-girlfriend after they broke up. She was the woman he left us and moved away for, and I was in 3rd grade, I think, so I was just kind of weirded out and didn't know what to say. He hasn't really talked to me about any of them since. Anyway, now I'm a senior in HS, and he broke up with his fiancée, so now it's just me and him living together, when I'm not at my mom's, and he just told me he's seeing someone new. I know it was really immature of me, but I kind of freaked out at him. I wasn't crying at first, but I was really upset, and asked him if he could just wait until I leave for college to start dating someone new. It's less than a year, and really only like 6 months since my graduation is at the end of May. I kept asking if we could just have some time with just us instead of someone else, but he got really mad at me, saying it wasn't fair of me to ask him that, don't I want him to be happy, it's not all about me, stuff like that. I didn't say this to him, but really, in my head I was thinking that I don't care about him being happy right now because it feels like it's always about him and his happiness. Which I know is a really unkind thing to think, but if I'm being honest, it's how I feel. But I didn't say it to him. I just kept asking for these last 6 months to just be us. Eventually he just stopped answering me and went to bed, so I did too, and he didn't really talk to me this weekend. It happened on Thursday night. I know I'm being selfish because I am asking him to make it about me and not be happy with this new woman. Her name. But I'm only going to be here for 6 more months, and then I'm leaving for college. Where I'm going yet, but I haven't applied to any schools in our city, so I'm definitely going to be living wherever I go. I'll come home for holidays and stuff, but I'll still be splitting that time up with my mom and dad, so it feels like these next 6 months are kind of it. I know I'm almost 18 and should be more mature, but when he told me, I just suddenly felt like a little kid again, which is probably why I started crying at the end, which was really embarrassing. How to explain it. I can't really talk to my friends about it, and it feels embarrassing, and whenever I talk to my mom about things like this, I feel bad because she never wants to say anything bad about him to me, even though I know she really doesn't like him, but she's amazing at putting on a polite face. So I'm asking strangers, am I the asshole here? My dad's been in a ton of relationships, at least 3 since they separated, and the last one was an engagement where we all lived together for like 5 years. We have different definitions of the word ton. 3 in 10 years is not a lot, especially considering one was a long-term one. Him being in a relationship isn't the problem. Him prioritizing relationships over you is the problem. If you confront your father, be sure to address what the real problem is. In the minority here, but not the asshole. Your dad left you and your mom for another woman when you were a little kid, and it sounds as though he can't face being single. Having people live with you, become part of your life, and then just disappear must be very disruptive. Could you move in with your mom? Not the asshole. This isn't just about the next 6 months. This is about him never prioritizing you. You became emotional because you finally revealed, just a little, how hurt you've been since he broke up your family 14 years ago. And his response was to criticize you. His reaction doesn't mean you were wrong. It just means he can't stand anyone pointing out his selfishness. As a divorced mom of 3, I managed to stay out of the dating game until my youngest was 19. Now I have a wonderful second marriage. Your dad is completely self-absorbed. I would never put my kids through living with a series of partners. Or make my little kid my confidant when my affair partner dumped me. Face screaming in fear, I'm sorry you have such a sucky dad. You are definitely not the AH. My wife wanted a divorce when our daughter was 2. I made the choice to not date to be able to spend as much time with my daughter as possible. Your dad has the rest of his life to date. This time with you is only happening once, before the next chapter in your life. He should really take this chance to connect with you. 6 months is going to blow by fast. That he sounds kind of like my ex. Always have to have someone around, or be pursuing someone. I even found myself between jobs several years ago, so I took the summer off to spend as much time as possible with my daughter before her freshman year in high school. Some things only happen once. Good luck. Feel free to DM if you want. Not the asshole. I think your comment. It feels like it's always about him and his happiness speaks volumes about your perception of how your dad has prioritized you in his life and with his other relationships. By asking him to hold off 6 months so that you could have some time with just him, you were asking for connection and more of a relationship with him. That desire for connection is somewhat unusual for teenager/parent relationships. However, it is probably because it is lacking and has been for a long time. You weren't asking for forever, which would be really selfish. You were asking your dad for the gift of time before you go off on your own. It is sweet, and it is heartbreaking that your dad didn't see what an opportunity he had with you before denying your ask. Am I the asshole for saying 4th time's the charm when my uncle talked about getting married again? On Sunday we were meeting at my uncle's for a kind of pre-Christmas meetup because one of my aunts had to leave today. I was with my dad and uncles in the yard. My dad asked my uncle how his plans for getting married were going. So I should give some context here. My uncle's first marriage ended almost 2 decades ago. I have 3 cousins from that marriage whom I used to be close to, but their mom got custody, and we rarely see them. Then around 8 years ago he got married to a woman overseas, brought her here, she already had a guy here, she called the cops on him for some made-up thing, and when he came back from a night in jail she'd left. This is what I've heard. I was in college, and the marriage didn't even last 1 term for me to have come back home and met her. It lasted a week, I think. Then 3 years ago he got married overseas again, and this time her parents changed her mind, so they got divorced while there. Naturally, I never met her either. So when my dad said that, I looked at my uncle and asked him if he was really looking to get married again. He said yeah, that he thinks he needs a partner in life. I just without thinking said 4th time's the charm. My uncle didn't take it well, while my other uncle found it hilarious. I'm pretty sure my dad did too, but he was being diplomatic about it. Today my mom told me that my uncle had told my dad it was really rude and disrespectful of me to say what I said. She said to just apologize to him when we see him on Christmas. I said sure, whatever, I'll apologize. This uncle has always been a fun uncle who would hang out with us cousins, so I thought he could take a joke, but he'll apologize sure. But was AITA? You are the asshole because it was unnecessary to say. Nonetheless, I laughed out loud. Apologize cause that one hurt. Funny, but it hurt someone you love. You are the asshole. I mean, I get why you said it, and everyone is thinking it, but it's still a joke at your uncle's expense. Apologize when you see him. Clearly this is a sensitive subject for him. AITA. Joking is fine, but you need to know your audience. Being divorced 3 times probably isn't something he's proud of or really wants to be shit on for. Have you ever had someone try to tease you about something you were really raw about? If so, you probably didn't think it was funny. Have you ever been the butt of a joke everyone thought was hilarious except for you, and they all had a great time laughing at you while you stood there? If so, you probably didn't think it was funny. Also, he's a generation older than you, which I'm sure doesn't help with all the above. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. It sounds to me like your uncle might be a lonely man and has been struggling to find someone who will genuinely love him. How awful that you are laughing at his expense. Haha. My hubby said that to his uncle just before his 4th wedding. At least the uncle had the sense to look sheepish. Just before the uncle's 5th wedding, I and my MIL told him that if he got divorced from this woman, we were going to keep her and divorce him because we like her a lot. They are still married 10 years later. Am I the asshole for not holding the door for a woman? Recently, I, 38F, switched my daughter to a new daycare. The entry system is similar at both. You enter a code and password into a keypad, and it unlocks the door. Only people who are authorized to pick up a child are given the code, and those people have their IDs checked and on file with the daycare. At the old daycare, the rule was that you are not to hold the door for anyone. Every entrant must use the code to open the door. They didn't explicitly tell me that this was the rule at the new daycare, but I figured it was the case, and it's certainly a policy I appreciate. The other day was one of my first times at the new daycare. As I entered, an older woman, late 60s, was standing behind me. I coded in, and she tried to follow me. I sort of blocked the door with my body and said, "I'm sorry, I think you have to use the entry pad." She said, "Oh, I'm just somebody's grandma." I said, "Okay, but I still don't think I'm allowed to let you in. There's a button right there where you can ask the front desk person to let you in." She huffed and said, "Are you really not going to let me in?" I said, "Sorry. I'll let someone inside know you're waiting." And I pulled the door closed behind me and alerted a staff member that someone was waiting. Maybe 10 seconds later, I hear the door open behind me. The woman was walking behind me, muttering under her breath the whole way and giving me a dirty look once she passed me. I'm certain she thought I was the asshole. When I told my husband about this, he said I was not the asshole, but that I probably should have just let her in. In my opinion, crazy comes in all shapes, sizes, and ages, and I'd rather make a situation uncomfortable than potentially unsafe for my child and other children. So am I the asshole? Info. The area we were standing in wasn't in any way uncomfortable. It was an interior entry space between a set of doors that open automatically and the door that has the keypad. Not the asshole. This is a security issue. Sometimes grandma is not allowed into daycare. You did the right thing forcing her to be confirmed by the front desk person. You did the right thing. My gym doesn't allow piggybacking either. Everyone understands and should understand. This is the rule. Respect it, and the kids will be that much safer. Good job holding your own, and no one should just let someone in after them through a secure entrance. Gosh, the horror stories I have from property managing apartment buildings. A daycare horror story would be so much worse. Not the asshole, and that grandma is a liability. Oh, absolutely not the asshole. Just because someone wants in, doesn't mean they're approved to pick up a kid. I can just see this turning into a kidnapping, with an abusive ex sending his mummy to grab his kid, that he's not allowed to be around. Not the asshole. The kid's safety is far more important than this woman's feelings. It took her 10 extra seconds to get in. Is that really such an inconvenience if it means that the daycare is safe for kids? People are so selfish. Not the asshole. As a former preschool teacher, please never let anyone in. Even if you have seen them before inside, or even if you know they are little Johnny's mom or grandma, or whoever. I have seen parents go from perfectly fine one day to us, having to call police on site the next. It is always better to be safe. Not the asshole. You don't know who this woman is, or if she's even supposed/allowed to be in the building. She could have been one of those grandmas who think that the kid is theirs, or isn't allowed near the kid. She could just be some random lady off the street. I would 1000% make things awkward if it meant keeping kids safe.